Well, you know what? They all don't have to be pretty, but the W always looks good in that win-loss column. As we welcome you here to Sixers Postgame Live, brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance, Amy Fiddle, Jim Lynam, and Mark Jackson. And they had a chance. They came all the way back. We knew that they would. They had a chance to end this one in regulation. They did not. Let's check out our Yingling Presents Lager Up out of the gates. We see those last two looks at the end of regulation to see how they could have won this. And first up, we've got James Harden. And it looks like this is going to be an okay try. But, Jim, what did you see here?
He had two plays here. I think he's going to get a shot that's not like that high percentage, if I recall this. He's going to penetrate, if I remember. Let me see it here. You see the Raptors switch, and he's going to. He's having trouble getting by, as you see. Yeah, this is a shot. It's a fadeaway over the outstretched hand, and we talked about this pregame about the length of Toronto. They do a very good job of challenging your jumpers. You see it?
Yes.
And Harden, he doesn't get separation. He tries to fade with it, but that's a big, long, athletic guy bothering your shot.
Yeah, that's an Anunoby that's on him. And this is a very good defensive team. We know that about the Raptors. But, he's working hard, Mark, to get nothing there. He has no separation. He has no really good look. And then you see Joel Embiid, same thing. Another really strong defensive effort, obviously from Siakam.
Absolutely good defense by Siakam. But Joel Embiid catch the ball 30 feet from the basket, 6 seconds left, 5 seconds left. I don't know. I know we want to get in our guys' hands. I just scratched my head. I'll take the win, but certain things I just don't understand.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Mark. Can Joel Embiid make that shot? Certainly he can. Would I like to see him get a higher percentage shot? Yes, I would.
I mean, that could have been one where you kind of flash somebody up and then he rolls down closer to the basket. Then defensively, Siakam wouldn't have been able to get that kind of, defensive presence, I would think, on him. So unfortunately, those didn't go down. But don't worry about it. We got overtime, free basketball, as they like to say. And this one didn't go the Sixers' way. That is our Colonial Nissan game changer. They started off the overtime with a couple of free throws. And then Tobias Harris, standing there in that corner, Mark, he was ready to roll.
Listen, give P.J. Tucker credit. Watch the up screen on Toby's man. Boom!
Right there.
Toby, that is a brilliant play right there. Got Toby the shot and Toby knocked it down.
And this one looked like we were going to be, no problem. They've got a 6-point lead because this is a heck of a pass from DeAnthony Melton, Jim, over to Tobias Harris. Looks like he also got fouled. And then, no, they overturned it all. What'd you see?
Well, watch Tucker tight to the lane. And I'll tell you what, that's the first time I saw that angle.
Yeah,
Tucker,
it's hard
he
to
moves
see.
his right leg as the defender is trying to run top side. See it?
Yeah.
When you look at this angle, you don't get as clear a vision. In other words, from the top of the key looking down. When you look at it from the other sideline, it's a bit more clear. But the refs called an offensive foul on Tucker. And
then great defense here from P.J. Tucker, redeeming himself a bit on Siakam. They had 2 shot clock violations, and they were only 1 for 9. The Raptors were, Mark.
I love P.J. Tucker. Listen, let me tell you, you can talk all you want about his numbers and we paying him this for this. Listen, he does these little things, and then watch this, trying to get to the lane, didn't come through.
Oh, so they reviewed this as well to see who it went off of. We thought it went off of Siakam, but it did not, or Boucher, pardon me, but it did not. It actually went off DeAnthony Melton. So Siakam, who had a heck of a game, no foul. They'd already had the 1 foul, obviously, to stop the clock. But, Jim, that's who you want to have the ball in your hands if you're Toronto.
Yeah, the Sixers switch it there. Give Melton credit. He gets a good challenge on the shot. He's in the air, but not going to commit a personal foul. And it's a tough shot for someone to make, driving left, picking up to shoot a 3 behind the line.
Can we talk about P.J. Tucker and Melton's defense?
Yes.
Crunch time defensively, and people wonder where Melton come from and how we got him. We're happy we have him, and we see the importance of having guys that can play both ends of the floor. P.J. Tucker, he's not scoring a lot of buckets, but he's going to get rebounds. He's going to create opportunities for anybody else. He's definitely going to play some defense, and Melton, come on now.
At one point, the Raptors were absolutely killing it from 3-point, and then you see what happened in overtime. 2 players they specifically picked up for their defensive efforts and the way that they play the game, what they need from them in crunch time. You mentioned them, DeAnthony Melton, P.J. Tucker, 2 guys that just really, really shined in that extra period. So, Jim, when you're the GM or the head coach, you're thinking, this is exactly why I have those guys.
Yeah, and to Mark and your point, Amy, in the overtime, the Raptors got one field goal. I think they were 1 for 9. But I know they only scored one field goal. And that doesn't happen by accident. You know, it's terrific defense, in particular, on the part of the two guys you guys cite.
So that's 5 in a row, a season high 5 wins in a row for the Sixers. The Raptors have now lost 6 in a row, and this one was hard fought. What does it say about a team when you have the lead comfortably, 11, 12 points, you're thinking, oh, we're going to cruise this one home. Then you allow the other team to come back in, and you fight your way back, and then you have to play overtime. How hard is it to get back up for that extra session?
You know, Amy, that's a great question, as always, by you. The interesting thing I laugh about that statement is, if we asked that statement a couple of years ago, we wouldn't have ended up with the W here. Teams make runs in the NBA. No matter how bad they are, they still going to find a chance to make a run. But the interesting thing is, do you have enough talent on your bench to go down and pick who you need in that game? So when this team make your run, if your starters don't have the gas in the tank, you got other guys you rely on. And the Sixers does. So I want to give credit to what credit is due from the Sixers role players being able to step up. Melton is a role player.
Yeah.
He's in this and he contributed. So when their team made the run, we got enough talent to overdo their run.
Well, you looked at it in the first half. They needed that bench who scored 25 of their points in a row, rattling them off. They were the only people that were scoring to get them back on top. And ultimately, they helped the Sixers win this game, especially in overtime. Let's check in now with Doc Rivers after his team's 5th straight win.
Just talking about being able to kind of overcome the ups and downs and flows and being able to get a game like this one.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was not a great game of flow or anything like that. We just kind of hung in there and won the game. So those are the ones that you look back on through the season, you take those wins.
Obviously, great to get the win, obviously, but this is kind of the second time on this homestand where you blew a double-digit lead, had to go into overtime.
Yeah, you know, listen, everybody blows leads in this league. That lead was blown by fourth quarter beginning, so we won the game. I celebrate that. Like, I'm not going to get into that. We won the game, and we should focus on the positive stuff. Like, our guys fought. We didn't have it. We missed wide-open shots tonight. Wide open shots. And so when you do that, the other team's probably at some point going to make a run. And, you know, a lot of teams, when they make a run, go the other way. We just hung in there. They got a lead on us. How about talking about us coming back? We actually were down by 8 down the stretch. And to me, that should be celebrated.
To that point, what did you make of Tobias tonight?
Oh, he was great. He was great. I still don't understand the call. That will have to be explained to me. Going by the rule book that I read, I don't get that call, and someone's going to have to explain it. Maybe they're right, but.
What specifically?
Well, you can't go back 2 plays in a play. You know, the foul was on PJ under the basket, on the pick under the basket, right? The guy ran out and fouled Tobias. That should have nothing to do with the play. That's a second action. They missed the first one. You can't call that one. That's not what the call was. The call was on the second action. So unless you can tie those together, maybe you can. I just need that explained to me. Yeah, I haven't seen it either, but listen, they have people in Newark or wherever it's at looking at it. So my guess is someone looked at a rule book somewhere and saw that. That's the only thing I can come up with.
Jalen didn't have the greatest shooting night.
No.
It seemed like he still had that confidence.
Yeah,
He was still taking those over.
Yeah, we got him at halftime. You know, like we thought he passed. I think he was 0 for 7. He had one right before halftime and should have shot it and didn't. And we jumped him at halftime. Like, either you are a shooter or you're not. And you're a shooter all the time, even when they're not going in. He just had one of those nights. You know, he had a human night. He had, I would say, 7 just point-blank looks tonight, and they just didn't fall for him. So, but you keep him out there because his defensively tonight, he was phenomenal again. So you keep him out on the floor because of that.
Just real quick to go back to Tobias, he did hit 6 threes.
Yeah.
Obviously, the one got wiped off.
Yeah.
7. But just what have you seen from his progression?
Yeah, you know, he's playing right. Like, he's running the floor. Still think there's times we should get it to him in transition more. I think he's so good in the open floor. He dedicated the summer to being a spot-up shooter and making shots, and he's doing that. I mean, he's got a quick trigger. You can see he's worked on improving the quickness of his release. He's doing that. He's ready. And that's not easy. Like, going 4 or 5 minutes and not getting it, and then the ball swings and making it, that's hard. That's really hard. And he stays ready. So very happy with him.
Obviously, there's a pecking order. Obviously, because there's Joel, James, when Tyrese comes back, there's going to be Tyrese.
Yeah.
But would you like to maybe get Tobias maybe a little more shots on the offensive end?
I don't care how we score 120. You know what I mean? As long as we score them. Tonight was just a slugfest. We got into the mud, the muck game. And you still won the game.
What's the biggest takeaway from you for this game?
This is a game that early in the year we lose because we just wasn't ready. And tonight we just hung in there. You can see it early, even with the lead. And no one was comfortable with us because you just saw we wasn't making shots. The fouling. We still got to get away from some of the fouls that we're committing, ushering them to the line. But we just hung in there enough. James said it great after. He said we just had a winning attitude and won the game.
I'm sure that you thought that they would get the ball in Siakam's hand for that last shot.
Yeah.
Would you make it a defensive commitment?
Yeah, Siakam's a hell of a player, but Tuck's a hell of a defender. We fouled almost too quick on the one with the foul to give, but you had no choice because he was going to try to drive and get a quick one. So I thought it was a good foul for them. It took them out of what they wanted to run, And so, an ISO 3, that's a tough shot. If he makes that, you live with that.
First half, all those D'Anthony misses, it still felt like the ball moved well.
Oh,
you
it's
guys were
great.
getting
Yeah.
clean looks, and then you guys lost that for a while.
Yeah.
What do you think happened? What's the reason for that?
They were making shots, which slowed us down. We were fouling, which slowed us down, and we slowed ourselves down. We really did. I thought a couple guys got tired tonight, honestly. You got to be really good to play at the pace. They were attacking, and we were playing slow. It's hard to win a game that way.
Doc, you guys struggled a little bit against the zone, when they deployed it in the first quarter, and then as you kind of figured it out as the game goes on. You guys have also used zone yourself in recent games pretty often. Is it kind of surprising when your team defends in a zone but yet can't execute against one?
I don't know. I think we execute pretty well in the zone overall. I mean, numbers-wise, I know you guys love numbers, right? Go back and look. We're really good versus zone. But every game a team runs a zone, you're going to have stretches where you struggle with it overall. We shut them out of the zone in the second quarter. So overall, I like what we're doing in zone. I hate when we walk. The thing that helps them against our zone offense is when we walk the ball up the floor. And when we do that, there's no good zone offense, Yeah. What is that? Yeah, that's what I do.
It felt like
That's 21, but
It felt like defense is what really led that comeback.
Yeah. I think we got 6 stops in a row to end the game, which is unbelievable. I don't know tonight if it was both teams played great defense or both teams played bad offense. I'm going to go watch. I know down the stretch we play really good defense, but throughout, we got to get away from the fouling. We have more late clock fouls, and that's the one thing we got to improve on. We got to play defense without fouling. Thanks, guys.
To kind of illustrate, Doc says, you guys love numbers. We do love numbers because sometimes they illustrate what he's talking about. And he said, we played defense really well late. The Raptors only had 5 points in the last 9:15 of this game. That includes, obviously, the end of regulation and into overtime. Only 5 points for a team that went crazy after halftime, Mark. So defensively, is that all P.J. Tucker and D'Anthony Melton?
A nucleus of talent that really strive on the defensive end. Yes, P.J. Tucker had the assignment of most of that team. You switch, who's going? P.J., I got him. Who's going? I have him. I love the fact that P.J. flourishes in his role to the point that he takes it personal. Like, he knows why he's here and he loves it. And I think not just that, he's damn good at it. And I like how Doc said, you like numbers, we were good. You take numbers, we won. Let's celebrate that. Let's celebrate the defensive effort we had. We didn't win this game on the offensive end. We won this game on the defensive end. Let's celebrate it and props where props is due.
Yeah, to that end, Jim, when you look at it, this is a game where you're thinking Sixers might not have won that, in years past. They certainly wouldn't have won it even last year because you didn't have guys like P.J. Tucker or DeAnthony Melton. So are they the difference makers that will decide games like this one, like the Lakers game and different things like that?
Yeah, I think yes to your question, but let's not forget, you also have Joel Embiid out there, okay? He's protecting the ring. You saw that one play where he smacked that shot away on the drive late in the game. And his ability, and when somebody runs pick and roll and they put Joe in the pick and roll, if the Sixers opt to switch that, Joe is capable of guarding a perimeter player who's trying to take him off the dribble. So when you add what Melton can do on the perimeter guarding his guy, you have what Tucker can do guarding his player, and now the versatility and the protection that Joe gives you at the rim, I mean, that's a pretty good nucleus, a good defense.
Yes, it is. And that leads to a 5th straight win for the Sixers.
Boom.
And you know what that means?
Play it.
There it is.
Play the damn song.
Clap your hands, everybody.